It's the regular season finale here in East Lansing for Michigan State and Rutgers, and who needs a shirt? It's Big Ten football weather, and there is a ton on the line for both of these teams. The snow has been coming down for most of the last 2 days, and still snow flurries here at Spartan Stadium. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody, alongside Petros Papadakis. I am Dan Hellie, and I mentioned a lot on the line. Michigan State trying to get to 6 wins to become bowl eligible in Jonathan Smith's first season here. Rutgers trying to get to 7 wins in the regular season for the first time in more than a decade, and to do so, they're going to lean heavily on their running back, Kyle Monangai, who's one of the very best in the conference.
He's great. He's a workhorse, and he's ready for this kind of weather. He's kind of the poster child for Greg Schiano's second time around Rutgers rebuild. Now, weather notwithstanding, they're still going to run the ball. They're very thin at tight end. Their quarterback runs it a little bit, Kaliakmanis, but it's Monangai with his wacky style of holding it high that is going to dictate what the Rutgers offense can do in this game. Going to be fun to watch him grind it out in the cold.
And for Michigan State, a child shall lead them, or should I say a child shall lead them. It is Aiden Childs, the talented sophomore quarterback and Oregon State transfer. In his first year as a starter, he's gotten a lot better, especially in the second half of the season. The last 2 games, taking care of the ball better as well. 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions.
Talent really is the word. This guy was the #1 quarterback in the portal when Jonathan Smith took the job here at Michigan State from Oregon State. He eventually ended up here as well. He's very slippery on the edge. He's got a lot of arm talent, a young man from Southern California. How's he going to handle this weather in this situation? He is the leader, though, that they want to build the program around with Jonathan Smith in the years to come.
It's cold. It's crisp. It is Big Ten football weather here in East Lansing. Rutgers and Michigan State. Crucial game for both teams. It's coming to you from Spartan Stadium next. 23 degrees in East Lansing. Feels like 13 with wind chill. Perfect football weather. Greg Schiano said, yeah, the weather's going to be a factor, but we're used to it, and we're glad to be here. His 16th season at Rutgers, his 5th in the second go-around. Jonathan Smith, the Michigan State head coach in his first year since doing just magical work at Oregon State. This is a crucial win for Smith and the Spartans, trying to get to 6 wins to become bowl eligible in his first season here. It is Jack Scullion kicking off. K'Ron Lynch-Adams calling for the fair catch at the 5-yard line. And we will get our first look at this Michigan State offense and their talented young quarterback, the sophomore Aiden Childs from Long Beach, California. We mentioned he's been doing a much better job taking care of the ball. Kind of an up and down season for a guy in his first year as a starter.
Better with ball security, very, very talented, very, very young. Still kind of learning to bring the team around him as far as ups and downs go, but really a bright future for this young man. Let's see how he responds out here in this weather.
Ideal weather for running the football. They're going to keep it on the ground with K'Ron Lynch-Adams, the former Rutgers and UMass player, now in his first year at Michigan State. As we take a look at the starting lineup, it is Stanton Ramil on that left side, who has a ton of talent. Talented wide receivers, Nick Marsh, the youngster, leading the way on the outside. And he is a playmaker as a true freshman out of Detroit. 2nd and 4 coming up. Pitch outside to Lynch-Adams, cutting it back up inside with some room. Inside the 50, inside the 40, and down to the 33-yard line for K'Ron Lynch-Adams. Malcolm Ray finally tracking him down.
Well, the right side of this Michigan State offensive line has really struggled this year, but they run a quick pitch out there, and he shows great patience getting behind Tanner Miller, the captain center, stopping his feet and not slipping and fighting for that first down. A great shot in the arm way to start the game for the Spartans on the ground.
And how about the defensive tackle, the big 300-pounder Ray, making his way down the field to make the tackle. Giles escapes to his right, picks up a couple of yards before he is chased out of bounds. As we take a look at this starting lineup for this Rutgers defense up front, Keontae Hamilton, Jordan Thompson, it's Griffin and Ray. And then you have these talented linebackers, Powell, who has been an NFL prospect coming off injury, Jabome, and on the back end, Bo Masco getting his third start at cornerback, Robert Longerbeam, the other corner to keep an eye on.
They're beat up in the secondary, but not as beat up as Michigan State is.
Oh, no doubt about that. Injuries have been a factor for both teams. Here's Lynch Adams going for about 3 before he's wrapped up by Keontae Hamilton.
Keontae Hamilton, a guy they wanted to start at nose tackle in this game, but they're without Aaron Lewis, so they kicked him outside to play end. Childs yet to throw the ball, had a little bit of a scamper on first down where he outran Jordan Thompson to the edge, but a pretty manageable third down for Michigan State.
It's Carter checking in at running back for the Spartans on 3rd and 3. The give to Carter. Carter has some room, cuts it back up inside. Here's Carter into the end zone. 2 scores last week. Give him 6 today.
They treat the Spartan fans in East Lansing braving the snow to a touchdown early. Carter, a reliable back, redshirt junior, does a good job, just like K'Ron Lynch Adams on first down when the drive started, getting out to the right, slowing his feet, seeing that lane and gashing the defense. Young man out of Rochester, New York.
Play is a touchdown. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense number 5. Got 15-yard penalty being forced on the kickoff. And that is number 5's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
I think they got him for the Snow Angels.
Snow Angels are illegal, P. I did not know that.
Well, now we know. And it wasn't just Carter. It was like 5 other dudes, too. But the young man out of Rochester starting the game out with a furious run to match the one from Lynch Adams on first down to start the drive. Very impressive by the Spartans, and they don't have to put it up at all.
The 2 running backs both looking good on that first drive. I mentioned the 2 touchdowns for Nate Carter against Purdue last week. He's the first Spartan player with a rushing and receiving touchdown in a game since Jaden Reed back in 2021. The extra point is up and good from Jonathan Kim. And just like last week, 1 drive, 1 touchdown for the Spartans. It's 7-0 here in East Lansing. Coming up next on FS1, we have more college football coming your way as Purdue battles 10th-ranked Indiana, then under the lights at 10:30 Eastern. Air Force taking on San Diego State. Catch all the action tonight on FS1. Let's take a look at the current Big Ten standings sponsored by Discover, and Michigan pulling off the upset of Ohio State just moments ago.
Look at they fell to 4, Dan.
How about that?
Oh, what a mess.
I know we do have somebody back in the truck producing this game who was happy with those results, but certainly shaking things up a little bit in the college football playoff, the Big Ten standings, and much, much more. As for Michigan State, picking up right where they left off in the first half last week, a 5-play, 75-yard scoring drive, capped by the Carter touchdown run. And last week they scored on their first 4 drives of the game to put up 24 points in the first half. They quieted down a little bit in the second.
7.
And we do have
the ball we placed at the 50-yard line, first down.
A flag on the kick. So pretty good field position for this Rutgers offense.
Big mistake there on the false start from the kickoff team. You don't see that very often.
I think Ethan Kelly-McManus is going to be more than happy to start at the 50-yard line. The transfer coming in from Minnesota.
Fine Greek American.
I knew you guys would get along well. He's having one of the better seasons in Rutgers history for a quarterback thus far. Would certainly love to get win number 7 for the first time in over a decade in the regular season for the Scarlet Knights. keeping it on the ground early as expected with Monangai. And how about the tough running? Dragging some Spartans with him for a couple of extra yards. As we take a look at this Rutgers offense, they've had the same starting offensive line now for the third game in a row.
Yeah, nothing fancy about it. They like to run. They like to go forward. You see Monangai, they're getting Mike Higgins, the tight end, they're decimated at that position, but it looks like he's going to play. And some capable receivers on the outside, but look out for Kaliakmanis' ability to run the ball. He's big and strong and faster than you think.
On 2nd and 2, Monangai breaking a tackle up the middle, finding some room to the outside. He is inside the 30-yard line, is the second leading rusher in the Big Ten. This is a guy who started his career as a fifth stringer, and look at him now, P.
Well, they said he was too small coming out of high school, 5'9", 209 pounds, but man, they take care of Jordan Turner, the Mike backer in the middle, and that springs him out to the right side. A nice tough run with those bare arms, holding the ball high. What a stud. Nice start for Rutgers, too. No one's thrown yet.
Not exactly ideal throwing weather here in East Lansing. Well, you called for it, and here we go. First throw of the game, first completion of the game. That's to the sophomore Ian Strong. Very smart, very coachable, and very good is this youngster.
Yeah, this guy's pretty good. He's got a huge cushion out there. Played pretty well last year, and he turns around Ed Woods, who's basically started all year at corner. And just way too much cushion there. An easy throw for Kaliakmanis. Michigan State has been devastated in the secondary. They have 7 guys that are not available. 7.
It is incredible playing 3 true freshmen in the secondary. They're hoping to redshirt some of those guys, but they have to use them. Rutgers keeping it on the ground with Monangai again, and it is Martinez on the stop. As we take a look at this Michigan State defense, Bogle kind of the straw that stirs the drink up front.
And they're very good stopping the run. Cal Halliday has been here forever. Jordan Turner, the Wisconsin transfer, a true Mike backer. And it's the secondary where they've really struggled. Other than Martinez, it's been a very, very upended situation there.
2nd and goal from the 7. Here's Monangai up the middle and in for the score.
Easy 7 yards for the Rutgers running back. The captain takes it right up the gut. Nice job by everybody really up front. Zelinskis, the center, really clearing things out, and just a huge snow-covered path for 7 yards to the end zone. Beautifully done.
Asamoah, Chin, the 2 guards, clearing out space as well. Jai Patel on for the extra point, trying to tie things up here in East Lansing. And indeed, he does. So it's 7-7, 2 drives, 2 scores. Back after this. Rutgers answering the call with a 5-play, 50-yard scoring drive capped by the Kyle Monangai touchdown run.
Look at the difference. You got Gus Zelinskis, the center, didn't put his coat on when he came to the sideline, but Monangai, he threw that thing right on. We'll monitor that throughout the game.
Which guy would you be?
The guy with 3 jackets on. Great drive, though.
Good drive for both teams here early on. Lynch Adams back deep to receive the kickoff on this snow-covered natural grass field here at Spartan Stadium. And not a ton of accumulation around town here in East Lansing, just kind of flurrying for the last couple of days, but it is chilly. 23 degrees, feels like 13. Jack Scullion kicking off for Rutgers. Fair catch called for as Lynch Adams goes to the turf at the 12-yard line. And Michigan State had the running game clicking on all cylinders on that first drive.
Got started here with a nice wash down over pursuit by Rutgers. 36-yard run by Lynch Adams. And then Really great blocking downfield by Foster for the Carter touchdown, which was 26 yards. Well done, and they haven't had to throw one yet. And they've been really exploiting that right side. Where they've struggled, they've ran 2 pitches for a lot of success out there.
Childs' first throw of the game off the mark to Lynch Adams, just off the fingertips.
Well-designed play by Brian Lindgren, the OC for Jonathan Smith. Childs just needs a little bit more accuracy there. That's got to be 1 foot in front of the numbers for the running back. Biggest mistake the Spartans have made offensively so far today.
The errant throw brings up 2nd and 10. Mekhi Frazier in at running back for the Spartans. And here it is up the middle with Frazier, the true freshman from McKinney, Texas.
It's a third back we've seen carry the ball on top of Childs, who had a run there in the first drive. Sets up a 3rd and 7 and a pretty big opportunity for Rutgers to get off the field as they make some defensive substitutions.
Michigan State bringing in Nate Carter, who scored that first touchdown at running back here on 3rd and 7. Childs to throw. He's pressured, and they got him. Rutgers getting to Childs for the sack. Jordan Walker, the junior from Rochester, New York, first man there.
Former wide receiver Jordan Walker finds Childs where he can't find somebody downfield. He was looking and looking and thought about taking off, and then that second of hesitation allowed the Rutgers defensive front to get to him.
Over the head of Eckley, loses the ball. Here comes Rutgers, and they got him in the end zone. What a colossal mistake here in the early going for the home team and the Rutgers special teams, who have been so good under Schiano, take advantage.
Right over Eckley's head, and he's got to kick this out of the back of the end zone. You got to push that out of the back of the end zone right now. You can't pick it up there. And I think they're giving the ball to Rutgers right at the 1 yard line. They're going to give them forward progress right there, which is even more disastrous for the Spartans because it gives them an opportunity to score a touchdown. 1st and goal for the Scarlet Knights. What a huge mistake in special teams where Rutgers has excelled to start this game.
Trouble with the snap for Ryan Eckley over his head. And the ball on the 1 yard line, kind of lucky, I guess. It's not an ideal situation, but could have been worse. Giving him forward progress.
Well, he's got to kick that out of the back of the end zone, get a safety, and get the ball back. 2 points as opposed to 6 or 7.
Yeah, and I guess theoretically, if they, by luck, I mean, they have a shot to hold them here to a field goal, but
that is true.
I'm trying to look at the bright side here for Michigan State, P.
Well, they got a stop on 1st down, 2nd and goal, though.
Trying the old tush push, and there is a flag. Let's see what the call is here. It's just a scrum there after the snap.
Illegal motion. Number 5 of the offense was moving forward at the snap. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. 2nd down.
Wow.
Monungai a little bit overzealous there with the snap.
So going to move him back.
Well, maybe you're right. Maybe they were lucky.
No longer a tush push or quarterback sneak situation.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was that situation when they were on the 2. They were having a really hard time getting push against this Michigan State front, which is very good, as we've said, against the run.
Second and goal. Kalik managed to throw, nearly picked off in the end zone. Jordan Turner got a hand on it. And then it was Gross who had another shot. Brings up 3rd and goal.
Well, they're trying to get it to Miller on the slant, and he's open, but just dropping right back into the zone there was Jordan Turner. Kaliakmanis didn't see him, and he almost comes up with the pick.
Big play early here for Rutgers, 3rd and goal. Kaliakmanis looking to throw, and the pass broken up. Angelo Gross there to break it up, going to bring up 4th and goal, and on comes the field goal unit.
They tried to get it to KJ Duff, who's got really big size, 6'6" guy. But even if it was completed, it was well defended by the Spartans, and 3 points is better than 6 or 7.
On comes Jai Patel. 9 of 13 on the season. And this one from 25 yards away. Knuckleballs it through to give Rutgers a 3-point lead. If you're Michigan State, you got to breathe a sigh of relief. Could have been worse. After the high snap over Eckley's head, they get the ball at the 1, and the Scarlet Knights have to settle for a field goal. Welcome back to East Lansing. Rutgers gets the ball on the 1-yard line, gets a penalty, has to settle for a field goal. 3 points is 3 points nonetheless after that errant snap over the head of the punter, Ryan Eckley. Rutgers unable to capitalize with a touchdown, settling for the field goal, but it's a 10-7 lead.
The Scarlet Knight looks a little bit like Sparty, doesn't he?
Just a little bit.
Different times.
Here's Lynch Adams on the return out past the 20-yard line. Run out of bounds by a slew of Scarlet Knights. And now Aiden Childs and that Michigan State offense back out once again. The running game looking so good on that first drive between Childs, Carter, and Lynch Adams.
Yeah, but
combined for 75 yards on the ground in that first drive.
They sure did, but not sharp on the second drive. Childs with a missed throw. They gave the ball to Frazier, and then the sack. And then the punt issue.
Here's Childs keeping it by himself, and there is just nowhere to go. A whole host of Scarlet Knights. Jordan Walker there once again, along with Tyreen Powell.
Tyreen Powell doing a great job. Been a little bit beat up, coming off a bad Achilles injury, but knows what to do out there and keeps the rest of the defense steady. That time, Childs just one too many moves. Needs to be a little bit more decisive, especially in this weather. This is one-cut weather.
Put that on a t-shirt. I like that, Petros. On 2nd and 14, Childs looking to throw, going to take a shot deep, and it's caught. Jerron Glover going up and getting that one. What a catch.
Well, it goes to show you the arm talent that Childs has, even in this inclement weather. They only rush 4. They do a really good job of protecting, and he's got Lynch Adams as an outlet if he wants him, but he doesn't have to have it because Glover came free there on the left. Really well thrown ball by Childs. And that's the best he's looked so far this afternoon.
Looking to throw again on first down. And there is nowhere to go for Childs, wrapped up by DJ Jabome.
Jabome is really kind of their burst on the scene guy. It's his first year starting. A crazy story out of Quebec, Canada. There he is, and he's going to come kind of looping around on the blitz and just late to get to him is Brandon Baldwin, who should have been able to pick him up, but DJ Jabome making a violent sack on Childs and setting the Spartans way back here on second down.
Third sack of the year for Jabome. Keeping it on the ground, and this Scarlet Knight defense is setting the tone here early. Keontae Hamilton and Keyshawn Griffin saying you ain't going anywhere.
Hamilton's been awesome. Played in 49 straight games. Griffin doing a good job as well. They really like to roll through about 8 or 9 guys. And that defensive front. 3rd and 19 in this weather. Maybe a quick kick. They have that in their arsenal.
Or a quick pass like this one to Lynch Adams. And a tremendous tackle by Bo Masco, making his 3rd start of the season, replacing Eric Rogers at cornerback. Holds him to a gain of 3, brings out the punt unit.
Masco's kind of their football junkie guy back there. Loves to play, understands the game really well. A joy to coach. Him and Jabome getting to Lynch Adams before that screen, which looked like it had some potential as it was developing. Just blew the thing up for a 2-yard gain only, and Rutgers is starting to bow their neck in this game.
Another high snap from Jack Carson Wentz. Actually does a nice job of bringing it down and getting the punt off. Fair catch called for by Dremel. And this Rutgers offense getting another bite at the apple here in the snow. Back after this. Still 10-7 Rutgers on top of Michigan State here at Spartan Stadium. I think that guy's looking for all his friends all alone on the top row. Maybe they're coming.
I don't know. It doesn't look like it.
It looks like he's going to be by himself for
the loneliest person in America. Well, he can walk about 30 yards over to his right and see some friends. There's a more
festive atmosphere.
Involved man, yeah.
Here's Monangai on first down. Jalen Thompson wraps him up. And Monangai coming into this one averaging 115 yards per game. Led the Big Ten in rushing last year. Coming into this one second. And he gets another carry. And they are going to ride this young man, Monangai rather. 28 carries for 122 last week, and he's just the definition of a workhorse.
They're going to continue to give him the ball, and he's one of those guys that gets better and better as the game goes on, because guys like Jalen Thompson, who's made the last 2 tackles, the sophomore out of Detroit, kind of get tired of tackling the guy in the 4th quarter and having that helmet hit their biceps and shoulders. Coach Schiano knows that too. He loves Monangai and what he represents as far as the rebuilding of this Rutgers program the second time around. 3rd and short.
Looks like Callie McManus is changing the play. Monangai, nowhere to go. Jordan Turner, the TFL on 3rd and short.
He shoots the gap and makes a huge play. Turner, the transfer from Wisconsin, right there into the A-gap. Nobody to account for him because he anticipates the snap and gets right to the chest of Monangai. Great job by Monangai, honestly, just to hold on to that ball when a guy's 4 yards deep in the backfield.
Anderson with the rugby-style punt, fair caught at about the 26-yard line by Foster Jr. Tomorrow on Fox, 2 of the NFC's best going head-to-head. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals take on Justin Jefferson and the Vikings, or the Bucs battle the Panthers, or other regional action. Check local listings for the game in your area. So after the 42-yard punt, Michigan State takes over, down by 3. with 2 minutes to go here in the first.
Felt like a shootout when the game started, but now everybody started to realize that they're playing in the snow and it's freezing out there.
Little end around to Marsh, who's upended. And Nick Marsh has been outstanding. The freshman out of Detroit, all smiles after that run.
The young guy who's really taken on a leadership role, their most talented young player, and he has come up as the #1 target. Foster's been very consistent, but Marsh is their most explosive guy. A lot of action in the backfield, but he's the guy that got the ball first there. He ran a long way to get the first down.
Keeping it on the ground again, and there is nothing going. Shaquan Loyal making sure Lynch Adams unable to turn the corner.
Yeah, to me, that cut for Lynch Adams is up underneath Loyal, and even if he's only going to get 2 or 3 yards, trying to bounce it outside and outrun people with the field this slick is not going to be easy. Better to take your foot into the ground and take it up the field. He left a couple yards there.
No gain brings up 2nd and 10. Childs looking downfield, lets it go. Ball came out of his hand a little funky. I don't know if it was hit on the release.
Trying to get it to A.Z. Johnson, their slot guy. And nice looking play. They've had a couple that have been well designed that Childs has just not been able to complete the throw on their second drive, excuse me, to Lynch Adams, and now this one.
3rd down coming up. Spartans 1 for 3 on 3rd down thus far. It's Nate Carter, the man in motion. Childs climbing the pocket, finds his man wide open for the first down. It's A.Z. Johnson. Ball goes on the ground. Let's see if they blew it dead before he was stripped.
They might have just said forward progress.
Forward progress was stopped prior to the ball being fumbled. First down, Michigan State.
And that's not reviewable. Fighting for extra yards, A.Z. Johnson. This is the kind of game with ball security that sometimes it might be a little bit better just to get down before the wave crashes over you, especially if you're only 6 foot, 175 pounds like Johnson. But a great job. And you see these flashes of brilliance from Childs.
Talented sophomore quarterback trying to lead Michigan State down the field for their 2nd score of the game.
The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow.
Welcome back to East Lansing. Michigan State down by 3 to visiting Rutgers, but they do currently have the football right around midfield and did a nice job at, especially on the ground on that first drive of the game. 75 of those 87 total yards came on the ground for Michigan State. Nate Carter in at running back. Here's Carter. Carter with some room. Nate Carter trying to go the distance. Nate Carter down at the 2. A touchdown saving tackle from Al-Shadi Salam.
Salam really got on his horse because,
Offense number 53. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
Oh my.
they get Brandon Baldwin, the right guard, who walked for senior night on his 27th start here. There he is, number 53. And he's washing him down, and yeah, on Malcolm Ray. And that was right in the hole that sprung Carter. A great job by Salam to run him down, but how about the speed from Carter? Really getting on his horse and flying down the hash. Big penalty for Michigan State. Let's see if they can overcome it. That's a long way to go.
Would have been a 49-yard run. Now 1st and 20. Childs has time and a man wide open in the middle of the field. It's Jack Velling playing in this game after he was carted off the field last week, taking a massive hit. This one goes for a first down.
Now Childs is running around and making decisions here, and he's doing it under control. They're only rushing 4. He pushes up. They're spying him with Jabome, the linebacker, but the second it looks like he's going to take off, the commitment from the front gets Velling open, and he delivers it beautifully. I'm telling you, there's a few plays here and there that you see this guy, and you can really see how bright the future is.
That was a 23-yard gain for the Seattle native and Oregon State transfer, Velling. Keeping it on the ground with Lynch Adams, and he is bottled up once again by this Rutgers defense. Jordan Thompson, Malcolm Ray there.
Yeah, this looks like it's one of those games where on a run like that, where you run over to the right, you got kind of a zone play going. Stay behind those guys, stay behind your blockers, stay behind your pads, and keep driving your legs and get a couple yards. Trying to bounce it outside and run away, not very easy with the footing the way it is out there. That's real grass.
It is. Football weather here in East Lansing. 2nd and 9. Childs setting his feet, letting it go. And that was a little long. Looking for Montori Foster, but like I said earlier, obviously not ideal throwing conditions here with the flurries coming down as it has for the most of the last 48 hours.
Well, they wanted to get the ball quickly out to Lynch Adams to the right side, and he was covered up. Rutgers did a good job recognizing it. So what Childs did is what he's been doing the last few weeks, is working his second, third progression. Saw something deep, couldn't make it.
Third and 9 for Michigan State. And there's Velling again. Plenty of room for Velling. Velling down to the 15-yard line. Knocked out of bounds by Kaj Sanders, and it's another first down for the Spartans.
And this is kind of who Jonathan Smith was when he was a play caller at the University of Washington, and his play caller, Brian Lindgren. They get you going with the run, and then they move people around. Velling, you see, just does a great job getting caught in the wash. Glover does a good job of not being too demonstrative about a pick play. And Childs delivers it, so it's catchable to Velling. Putting together a nice drive with some great throws here.
Back-to-back 23-yard gains for Velling on this drive. Keeping it on the ground, and Carter spinning his way down to the 10-yard line.
That time they run to the left side of their offensive line, which has been much more reliable this year. Rammel and Luke Newman over there. Loyal with another tackle coming up from the strong safety position.
They really like Rammel. Say this redshirt freshman from Alabaster, Alabama, has a ton of potential on the left side. Jake Coyne in at fullback in front of Nate Carter.
Plays about 3 snaps a game.
Here's Carter. There was some daylight, but Jordan Thompson closed quickly. And Flip Dixon there as well.
Michigan State getting a pretty good push right now with their offensive line. And they've mixed in some nice play action. They're using a lot of different weapons so far.
Michigan State 3 for 5 on third down so far. And we have a Rutgers timeout to discuss the operation here on 3rd and 2. And you're right with Childs. You can see the arm strength, you can see the athleticism just flashing, and they're just looking for him in his first year as a full-time starter just to put things together on a more consistent basis.
Schiano trying to figure out what to do defensively. Now Jonathan Smith, very interesting. When he had Childs come up to Oregon State, he was starting behind DJ Uyunglele, playing behind the starter DJ Uyunglele. And in the spring, Jonathan Smith said it really showed up that this guy was wildly talented to where they're going to have to get him in games and get him moving. And they were able to do that last year, but still very inexperienced player. This is his first year starting and becoming a leader. You see that ability, though. It's very raw.
Keeping it on the ground and nothing going. Again, that Rutgers defense answering the call. Malcolm Ray among those on the stop. And that brings up 4th and 1.
I think they like the push they're getting, and looks like they're keeping everybody in to run some offense.
Bringing in Ron Lynch-Adams, a running back.
Childs is about 217 pounds and 6'3". He looks kind of skinny, but he's really not.
And we have another timeout. Michigan State calling it this time.
Not sure if they were actually going to run a play or try to get Rutgers to jump. Either way, Jonathan Smith wants to take a little bit of time and look at it.
Michigan State did such a nice job last week in the first half in that win over Purdue, scoring on 4 consecutive drives. They score on the first drive here this afternoon. Have a snap sail over their punter's head, Ryan Eckley, and the defense does a nice job with the ball on the 1-yard line, holding Rutgers to a field goal. That's the difference here thus far. And now Michigan State with an opportunity here on 4th and 1 to earn a fresh set of downs inside the 5-yard line for the season. They're 39% when going for it on 4th down. Keeping it on the ground here, and they're not going to get it. What a defensive stand. Jabome and Flip Dixon.
Jabome just not having it. They get the ball to Lynch-Adams, and Jabome delivers it right to the sternum. What a stop by the Scarlet Knights. It's a slog at Spartan Stadium. Here's what happened on 4th down. You got the 2 tight ends out there, Parachek and Velling, and they do an okay job at kind of setting the edge there, but Coyne has got to kick out, and then Lynch-Adams has got to come underneath that. Even if they did that, Rutgers had a lot of numbers with Flip Dixon and Jabome out there. They made a great play, a great stand to keep the lead.
And Rutgers takes over now on their own 6-yard line. Kaliakmanis looking to throw. That one complete along the left side. It's Ian Strong picking up 7, maybe 8. Ed Woods there to make the tackle for Michigan State.
They really think Strong can be really good.
He had that great touchdown catch last week over a defensive back in the corner of the end zone.
Heartbreaking loss last week for Rutgers against Illinois at home. Really had to turn the page to get to this one. A lot to feel good about when it comes to their season and their rebuild.
Here's Monangai. Nowhere to go on 2nd and 2. And I don't think there's many coaches that turn the page better than Greg Schiano. The keep chopping theme that he's had since early in his coaching career, as in chopping wood, is exactly what they've had to do after a loss like that. They were on the doorstep of beating a top 25 team for the first time in forever. Slips through their fingertips in the final minute of the game, and they just keep going. And now trying to keep this drive going on 3rd and 2. Here's Monangai. Head down, 1st down.
That's what great backs do. They know exactly where that stick is, and regardless of how many guys are over there, they can push the pile. Monangai, only a 209-pound guy, one of the shortest guys out there at 5'9", and he pushes that pile like a backhoe. I mean, he moved those guys and willed himself for the first down.
Manungai, one of 3 running backs in program history with over 3,000 career yards. Manis looking for Strong once again.
RPO look, and Jalen Thompson and Ed Woods were right on top of him. There is a penalty.
Yeah.
Pass interference. Defense number 4. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
They called it on Ed Woods.
It didn't look like there was a flag down initially. They kind of threw the flag late, but you could see the reaction immediately from Woods.
Strong and Woods just kind of holding on to him a little bit at the end of that. I'm not sure that ball was going to find Strong either way. Bit of a break for Rutgers, and Woods has got to keep his hands to himself a little bit better. They're calling him that tight.
Here's Manungai with some room and another 8-yard gain. Every time he gets the ball, he's picking up a nice chunk, 7-8 yards.
They're bringing him across the formation and then into the line of scrimmage, and he's doing a great job of keeping it tight. And now they're using a little tempo with him.
Manungai again. And this time, Jordan Hall from his linebacker spot, and Dequan Dowse making sure the third down comes up.
Jordan Hall's like their third linebacker that comes in, plays Mike linebacker and Will. Dowse, the transfer from Georgia Tech. Great job there.
Dowse didn't play last week, was questionable coming in. The injury situation on both teams has not been great, so a lot of guys toughing it out here in the snow and the cold. Manungai on 3rd and 2, all kinds of room for Manungai, gets into plus territory, and Rutgers continues to march down the field.
Nice job by KJ Duff and a few other guys down the field blocking, and here they're going to bring him once again across the formation and then into the line of scrimmage. Tempo again.
Looking downfield, and it's caught. Rutgers running tempo, attacking downfield, and the ball is hauled in by Ben Black.
Dymere Miller, I guess. They go for the long pass. That is Ben Black. Freshman out of Charlotte, North Carolina. They've juggled some of their numbers in the receiving corps because of injuries, and getting the ball downfield quickly, using that tempo and kind of lulling them to sleep.
Antoine Raymond in at running back, gets the carry, and it's Raymond in for 6. A 13-yard touchdown by the true freshman from Montreal, Canada.
Raymond is their young back. They like him a lot. Breaks a tackle there. Looking a lot like Manungai. Leaves Bogle in the snow and gallops for the first down. The long pass by Kaliakmanis to Ben Black really set it up after a nice run by Manungai. Great drive. Set up by the 4th and 1 stop from Jabome.
Jay Patel on for the extra point. It is up and it is good, and we have a 10-point lead for the visiting Scarlet Knights. It's the freshman Raymond with his 4th touchdown of the year. Friday night on Fox, Ashton Genty and 11th ranked Boise State looking to capture back-to-back conference crowns and punch their ticket to the college football playoffs against either UNLV or Colorado State for the Mountain West championship. Coverage begins Friday at 7 Eastern on Fox.
And look how he stacks up, Dan, against some of the other running backs that have won the Heisman the last 3 through 12 games. You see what Reggie Bush did, of course, catching the ball and returning punts as well. Big Noon's Mark Ingram, what a G. King Henry, But what Ashton Jeanty has done this season, been one of the most impressive running back performances I can remember since Christian McCaffrey, Toby Gerhart.
We've been lucky enough to call several of his games over the years, and you could tell that he was special pretty quickly as the fair catch is called for by Sam Edwards. And certainly Ashton Jeanty going to be finding himself in the NFL. I would be shocked if he wasn't a first-round draft pick, even though he's a running back.
And now Michigan State with an opportunity to try to come out and restore some order. Great complimentary football played by the Scarlet Knights. They get the big stop on 4th down near the goal line by Jabome. Turnaround, Manungai runs the ball. A nice long throw by Callie McManus to Ben Black. They finish it off with the freshman running back Raymond taking it to the house.
And now they have Nate Carter in at running back, does Michigan State. Childs taking a shot, has a man going up to try to get it. Is Jerron Glover. He did it earlier. Unable to haul it in this time. Kaj Sanders there in coverage for the Scarlet Knights.
It was Powell right in the face of Childs, and he sets his feet and throws this ball and delivers a really catchable ball to Glover. He just can't get his body in the exact position to pull it down, but nice throw by Childs. Almost did it.
Keeping it on the ground with Carter. Spins out of a couple of tackles. Does a nice job picking up 6, maybe 7, when he could have been taken down for a 1-yard gain.
And he's just a solid every down back. Fights for extra yardage using his upper body. You see what he's done so far. Very good first half. A lot of that came in that 36-yard run, the first play of the game.
Nate Carter, the transfer from UConn, now in his 2nd season at Michigan State. 3rd and 4 here for the Spartans. Pressure coming on Childs, flushed out of the pocket. Still looking downfield, and pass is broken up. Tremendous defensive play by Salam.
That's the hard part about taking a shot on 1st down in a game like this. You don't get it. You get your customary 6 yards on 2nd down. And then a 3rd down situation, you don't convert. You got to give it right back to the Scarlet Knights. Well defended play by Salam. He got his hand in there and thought it was a nice try by Childs, extending that play and giving Dremel a chance.
Good snap from Carson Wentz this time. And fair catch by Christian Dremel inside the 30-yard line. Rutgers on top, on the road, looking for win number 7.
Kyle Manungai, the captain of the Rutgers football team, is like a little bumper car out there. And he is carrying the Scarlet Knights right now offensively. Holding it high and tight, Tiki Barber style, and a nightmare for Michigan State, just giving it right back to Rutgers on 3 and out. You see where he stands in Rutgers history.
Pretty darn good. Don't know if he's going to catch Ray Rice.
It's going to take a Herculean effort.
But what an incredible career it has been for this young man who only had one other big-time offer. And Greg Schiano told us, I wasn't even sure that offer from Cal was real. Here's Manungai again.
That was funny. Schiano said, I didn't know if the offer from Cal was real because it was from the other side of the country. Like we're doing telegraphs or something like that. Greg Schiano said his high school football coach at Don Bosco Prep, Manungai, stood on the table for him and said, you got to take this kid. And what a wonderful circumstance it ended up being.
You want this guy on your wall, you need him on your wall, and he has been absolutely outstanding, approaches everything like a pro. And here he is again, has some room, cutting it back inside, picks up the 1st down and then some before he's wrangled down by Ed Woods.
And he didn't get by Ed Woods there, but just see how he had a plan for Ed Woods, maybe about a yard before he got to him, a 10-yard gain by Manungai. He tried to use his upper body and slap him out of the way. That's what good running backs do. They have a plan about a yard before they get to somebody in the secondary, as opposed to just running into them and trying to bounce off.
And they know exactly where they need to get to pick up the first down. That run goes for 10. One more time, carrying it high and tight, breaking a tackle, cutting it back inside and down to the 36 or 37-yard line. All smiles for Monangai.
Yeah, they will find the guy and they will block to him that they are not comfortable tackling, and they figure that Jalen Thompson in that situation is not comfortable one-on-one tackling Monangai. Another situation out on the perimeter on the right side, and another first down for Rutgers. They are starting to soften up Michigan State on the underbelly.
That one goes for 21 yards and another first down. And what a game it's been thus far for Greg Schiano. Defensively, they have answered the call. Offensively, moving the ball about as well as they have done this season. And for Monangai, over 100 yards here in the first half. Talk about this Rutgers team. They open the season 4-0. Then they lose 4 straight. And then they win against Minnesota and at Maryland. Almost beat Illinois last week.
A lot of familiarity between the Rutgers staff and the Minnesota staff. Kirk Shiraka, the offensive coordinator from Minnesota.
And of course, the quarterback, Athian Kaliakmanis, transferring over here. Shiraka told us, I just knew that he would be a good fit with Coach Schiano. And he has found a home here. He is a senior, but Kaliakmanis will be able to come back one more year for Coach Schiano. As I believe we had an injured player down on the sideline. We're going to step aside here for just a moment. Back in East Lansing after this. Welcome back to East Lansing. 17-7, Rutgers on top of Michigan State. There is a player down on the sideline. We have been unable to identify him until now. We do believe it's Jalen Thompson. He has been surrounded by medical personnel. They're bringing out the cart for safety, Jalen Thompson. We will step aside once more and be back here in East Lansing after this. Welcome back to Spartan Stadium. That's Jalen Thompson, the freshman safety from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, being placed on the cart by medical personnel. Here's a look at the play. Kind of hard to tell exactly what happened, Petrus, but you believe he hit his head.
Yeah, it looks like he hits his head on the ground, and the ground is the hardest hitting thing out there. And looks like he's struggling a little bit after that, and all the precautions were taken. They did a good job of getting him on that cart and getting him off the field, and we will await a report about his health. Another secondary player down for Michigan State.
Here's Monangai absolutely swarmed by this Michigan defense, and it's the other Jalen Thompson, the defensive end from Detroit, who was the first one there along with Ben Roberts. So 2nd and 12 coming up after a loss of 2.
Yeah, momentum in this game has been really with Rutgers since that 4th and 1 stop. But hard to keep momentum going in this weather when there's big delays out on the field.
Kaliakmanis looks to be audibling at the line of scrimmage. And here he is, handing it off. Monangai again met by a wall of Spartans. And that was James Schott.
Monangai tries to go up underneath the pursuit, but Schott too good with his hands, getting a hold of his front and bringing him down, and that sets up a 3rd and long for a Rutgers offense that's not exactly comfortable in 3rd and long situations.
And looks like the 2-minute timeout is almost upon us. Let's get a little preview of what's coming up at halftime with Mike Hill.
Coming up on the State Farm Halftime, an ugly scene breaks out after a major upset in Columbus. We'll show you if Tennessee can survive a scare in Nashville, and a walk-off touchdown in the ACC you have got to see. But don't worry about it, Dan and Petros. We'll show it to you at the half. See you then.
I am worried about it, Mike.
Mike always takes care of us. He knows what's going on. We're a little preoccupied here in the snow in East Lansing.
Mike knows I'm worried. I've never seen such much snow in my life.
How many times have you seen snow?
Five. About five.
5 times.
I'm almost 50 years old.
Well, you're a Southern California kid. You take the kid out of California, but not the California out of the kid. Greg Schiano loves this weather.
They know what it's all about. Jonathan Smith, West Coast guy like myself, but a lot of time in Washington and Oregon State. But this kind of snow, this time of year, definitely a challenge for everybody.
Not a whole lot done in the passing game. Childs has completed 5 passes. Kaliakmanis has completed 3. And certainly a throwing situation here if they choose to do so on 3rd and 12. Kaliakmanis with all day in the pocket. He's going to tuck it and run, and he can move. Diving for the first down. Looks to be shy. Caught in the air by Cal Halliday.
Halliday got there and is a little banged up there, trying to wave off the trainer, holding his back. Legendary linebacker in East Lansing. He's been here forever, it feels like. Kaliakmanis takes off. You see him holding the ball high and tight, which is that Rutgers style. And yeah, you see him go down on his back with all the weight of Kaliakmanis on top of him.
Yeah, I think he took a knee right to the kidney perhaps, but Cal Halliday, his 53rd career game here today, his 47th start for the Spartans.
He's off the field and into the tent. 2 guys they've lost on their defense, which has already been decimated with injury in the secondary. They're going to go on 4th down. It's about as tight of a formation as you can see.
Kaliakmanis head down. It's hard to tell exactly where he ends up. All about the spot. We do have a flag down as well. This could change things just a little bit.
They called illegal formation the first time because Manungai was moving before the ball was snapped to be a pusher.
Offside. Defensive nose guard was in the neutral zone at the snap.
Oh, wow.
Enforcement of the 5-yard penalty results in a down.
Well, it's credit card alignment, and then there's lining up way offside. That's what happened there with Daquan Dowse. So it would have been a first down anyway, I believe. Penalty makes it a moot point.
Rutgers with the chance, already up by 10, under 2 minutes to go here in the first half to create some more separation. Kaliakmanis looking left side, and Ian Strong didn't really have a chance.
But you got to continue to take shots. We've seen Michigan State do it too. You got to continue to throw the ball down the field just so the defense sees it, just so they don't completely and totally oversell to stop the run, because that's exactly what Rutgers wants to do. They'd love to run this ball in with Manungai right outside the 20 right now. Minute 35 to do it.
Would not be surprised here if Kaliakmanis ends up running the ball. He had a career day on the ground last week. 13 carries for 84 yards. Here's Kaliakmanis again, trying to spin his way out of trouble. Can't do it. Ben Roberts and Chris Bogle there.
Ben Roberts, the Oregon transfer. A few Oregon State transfers on this team, but Oregon as well. Ben Roberts. Plenty of eligibility left. Stops Kaliakmanis from being able to get outside and create like he did earlier in the drive. Timeout, Michigan State, to try to get that ball back. Remember, Rutgers gets the ball to start the second half. They'd love for Aiden Childs to get another shot at a drive if they can get a stop here or force a field goal.
And Rutgers looking at 3rd and 13. If they can find a way to pick up the first down, to your point, getting the ball back. A lot of opportunity here to create more separation. Third and 13 on deck for Rutgers. Six defenders at the line of scrimmage for Michigan State. Five-man rush, pass complete, and not going anywhere. Jordan Hall on the stop for the Spartans. KJ Duff did not have a chance. 4th down coming up.
Well, Michigan State runs a corner blitz. Monungai does a great job of picking it up, and Kaliakmanis has to work his progression all the way over to the right. Well defended by Hall, who's there in a moment to make the play. And he's in because Halliday just went into the injury tent. Not much drop off there with the true sophomore linebacker from Fredericksburg, Virginia.
So you have 4th and forever. The ball is sitting at the 24-yard line. And Jay Patel, whose career long is 51 yards. It's not going to be nearly that. However, it feels like 13 degrees. The ball's going to be hard as a rock. This is going to be a 42-yarder. And we do have wind and snow coming down. Patel's kick is up. And it is good.
That's how you kick the rock.
Yes, sir.
Crushed it.
42-yard field goal from Jay Patel from Monmouth Junction, New Jersey. And Rutgers adding to their lead here on the road, now up by 13. Michigan State with no timeouts left and 77 seconds to try to get a score here before halftime.
You know, sometimes you get into the 2-minute drill and it can really awaken a young player. The Rutgers faithful feeling pretty good about the lead that they've created here in the first half. Aiden Childs shown some pretty impressive things in the first half, but the consistency hasn't really been there. 20 unanswered points for Greg Schiano's team.
And he's taking the hat off. He's loving the snow. Greg Schiano, a snow type of guy. And there is K'Ron Lynch-Adams back to return the kick. As Michigan State looking to get back on the board for the first time since their first drive of the game. Fair catch called for.
Now what you want to do here if you're Michigan State is find a way to do this efficiently. What you can't afford is some kind of turnover or something to set back the confidence of your young quarterback and make this lead worse. You see the first down differential not very big. Michigan State's been able to move the ball, but hadn't been able to score since their first drive.
Childs flushed out of the pocket to the right side, just gets rid of it. And nearest receiver was Jack Velling, who's been the most productive pass catcher for Michigan State here today.
Good job by Keontae Hamilton, kind of flushing him. Velling a little bit beat up last week, but looks pretty good this week. There's Hamilton, who started out on the end in this game. Plays inside as well, pretty versatile guy.
Look at the numbers here for Childs, 5 of 11 so far, 83 yards through the air. Set to throw again, clean pocket, lets it go, pass is complete.
Nope.
Nope, he drops it. Thought he had it. And it would have been a first down catch. It was Robert Longerbeam in coverage.
The captain corner, Longerbeam, right on top of him. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, he just uses strong arms to kind of strip that ball out. And you see the ball hitting the ground. Nice job by Longerbeam being right there in the moment, pointing both fingers at the ball on the ground. Big third down. You don't want to give it back to him.
3rd and 10 for Childs. And nothing going. It was Nick Marsh who was in the vicinity, but Childs a bit off the mark, as the crowd doesn't like it.
Yeah, some frustration here at Spartan Stadium. They try to get it to their best receiver on a post, and he's double covered. Bo Masco right there. And now you got to give it back to Rutgers and play more defense with a minute left, and they have 2 timeouts.
It's Dremel back deep. All kinds of room for Dremel. Catches it just inside the 40, dives out past the 45-yard line. So good field position for Rutgers with 49 seconds to go here in the first half. And as you mentioned, a couple of timeouts. That's pretty important here for the Scarlet Knights with under a minute to go in the first half.
And ever since that 4th down stop, Greg Schiano's team has just been managing this game better, managing the weather. Quarterbacks making decisions with a little bit more sort of distinction.
Callie McMahon has been very decisive. Last 3 games, he's accounted for 9 touchdowns and just 1 interception. Let's see what he can do here with 49 seconds to go. Working with 4 wide receivers. Callie McManus dumps the short crosser off to Strong. Strong gets out of bounds right at the line to gain.
Good idea on 1st down, spread him out, get him down the field, and then run the crosser, who came pretty wide open, and Strong. Remember how beat up that Michigan State secondary is, and Jalen Thompson left in a cart earlier.
Strong picks up 9, brings up 2nd and 1. Here's Monungai, and that was a long ride from Callie McManus. I thought he was going to pull that for a minute.
The super mesh, he wanted everybody to think he was going to pull it so Monungai could maybe break a tackle. Looked like if he did pull it, he would have had some room.
We hear some whistles.
Rutgers really trying to use tempo.
For play, it'll be returned to the spot, 1st down Rutgers.
Rutgers going too fast for the officials there.
Well, there are only 34 seconds left on the clock, 36 rather, as it has been adjusted. Callie McManus in and out of the arms of the intended receiver. And again, it was Ben Black who had that nice catch earlier.
Yeah, Ben Black with the long reception to set up the touchdown for Antoine Raymond, who doesn't get on the field very much, but when he did, he scored a touchdown. They don't like to take Monungai out.
2nd and 10 with 31 seconds to go here in the first half. Kaliakmanis lets it go, and that is complete along the right side. Demir Miller, the leading receiver for the Scarlet Knights, hauling it in.
What a great blitz pickup by Monangai. Look at him stepping up into the hole and making that work, blocking Jordan Turner, the Mike linebacker. That's why you don't take him out of the game.
And here's Monangai swarmed right at the line of scrimmage. Timeout call with 21 seconds to go.
Got time for another play. Timeout, maybe try to kick it. See what Greg Schiano and Kirk Shiraka have up their sleeve here. They've really managed these last few minutes of the game well.
How aggressive do you want to be here, Petros? With do you take a shot into the end zone? Are you comfortable kicking a field goal from where you are here? Do you try to just
probably want to get it a little closer? We'll see if they're playing for the field goal or not with the play that they run. They could really demoralize the Spartans with a touchdown, but a field goal would show that they're really managing this game in a superior way.
And again, Rutgers does get the ball back to begin the second half. So this could be a real dagger if they're able to find the end zone here. But you're right, I think this play is going to tell the story in terms of what their game plan is here for the final 21 seconds of the first half. Kaliakmanis with some time. He's going to tuck it and run. Diving ahead down to the 22-yard line. 12 seconds to go. And we do have a man who is slow to get up for this Michigan State defense. Schiano's looking at the clock, mulling something over here, and I think he's wondering.
Now you have time.
Timeout or an injury timeout?
Yeah, it is a timeout. He got up, so he did call a timeout. The player got up before anybody came out to the field, but you're right, he is wondering about that. And I think they have enough time to take one shot and then kick.
Well, you have to be very careful about where you're taking this shot. It looks like that's. Is there a flag down? I think we may have a defensive holding penalty.
Well, it looks like, yeah, a late flag.
Rutgers is giving back their third timeout. Rutgers will have a timeout remaining.
So he did get his timeout back because of the flag. Or they picked up the flag and they just got their timeout back. They didn't pick up the flag. They are walking off the penalty, so there is a defensive holding. That put Rutgers in a great position to take a shot at the end zone here.
Here you go, and keep your eye. There it is, the corner of the end zone. There's the shot. They were looking for Ian Strong, which was to be expected, but you still have 8 seconds to go and a timeout. So you're going to take another one here, I would imagine.
Yeah, fans are unhappy with the way this has played out, but kind of confusing. It was an interesting moment because there was a Michigan State player down briefly after the Kaliakmanis run. And we thought that's what Greg Schiano was interested in. There was a flag somewhere out there buried in the snow for defensive holding, and that's what they got sorted out. Rutgers still with a timeout left.
Let's see if they go to Strong again. And indeed they do, and it looked like a little miscommunication here between Strong and Kaliakmanis. And that brings on the field goal unit. So they went back to the well a second time. Strong, big kid, 6'3", over 200 pounds. Didn't really have a shot at that one, so out comes Jay Patel. 30-yard field goal attempt. Really
well managed final 5 minutes by this Rutgers team and Greg Schiano. Just shows you when you have a more experienced quarterback what you can do.
Catel's kick, a line drive, and it is up and good. So we go into halftime with a 23-7 score. The Rutgers offense is rolling here in East Lansing. Exactly how they drew it up, looking for win number 7 in the regular season for the first time in a decade. Let's send it to halftime.
Welcome to the State Farm FS1 College Football Halftime Show. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey there, welcome inside our LA studios. Mike Hill alongside Emmanuel Acho and Chris Peterson. Of course, we'll get you back out for the second half between Rutgers and Michigan State very shortly. But first, we got to get you caught up on the other action around the country with our State Farm halftime highlights and talking about the game. Michigan #2 Ohio State. Who saw this coming? Ryan Day definitely did not. He lost 3 straight in this series. Picking up late 4, tied at 10. What a day for Cleo Mullins.
Mullins, I mean, they put the team on his back. 20 carries, over 100 yards. I mean, just a really good and consistent performance by him.
27 yards on 3rd and 6. That will lead to a field goal. They have a 13-10 lead. We got 30 seconds left in the game. 4th and 9, final chance for Ohio State. Howard. Will Howard. Oh, under pressure, incomplete. Michigan upsets #2 Ohio State 13-10, their 4th straight win over the Buckeyes. After the game, all hell breaks loose. They tried to plant the flag. Michigan did. Ohio State fans, players took exception, but Michigan gets the win 13-10. Here's Mullins speaking with our Jenny Tab afterwards.
Kalal, I know it's a lot to ask you just to reflect on the scenes that we just witnessed. What's going through your head right now?
Yeah, you know, it was for such a great game. You hate to see stuff like that after the game. You know, that's just bad for the sport, bad for college football. But at the end of the day, you know, some people gotta learn how to lose, man. You can't be fighting and stuff just because you lost a game. You know, all that fighting. We had 60 minutes. We had 4 quarters to do all that fighting, and now people want to talk and fight. That's wrong. You know, it's just bad for the game, classless in my opinion. You know, and people got to be better.
You were such a difference maker today, and I know you spoke to me this week about how much this rivalry means to you. For you guys to do it again, how proud are you of what your team did on the field today?
I'm so proud of all the boys out here, all the boys at home, the entire program. You know, through the ups and downs, fighting all season. You know, we haven't necessarily had the season that we wanted to have, but, you know, through going through those ups and downs, some things don't change. And, you know, we came out knowing what we had to do, knowing that, you know, it was possible, and if we played our game and did what we needed to do, we could come out with a win, and we did just that. So
thank you, Kalal.
Thank you so much.
Thanks to Mullins, Michigan outrushed Ohio State 172-77. Who wins the rushing battle? Has won this matchup the last 23 years. Ask Ryan Day. 1-4 now against the rivals, the team from up north. 44-1 against other Big Ten teams. That's crazy. With more from Columbus, here's Rob Stone, the Big Noon Kickoff crew.
So Michigan earns their 4th straight win over the Ohio State. 13-10, only 3 points scored in the second half. One of the big talking points, of course, is going to be the ugliness at the end of this game. Michigan players taking their flag, celebrating, and trying to plant that flag on that block O at midfield. Buckeyes storming off their sideline to defend their turf. An ugly way to end, Urban, an intense rivalry game.
Yeah, I've been involved in the game for 50 years, and I can't remember seeing something like that. That's a shame. And I saw James Franklin pull his players off one time when they're getting ready to plant a flag. I did that one time. There's no room for that. Go celebrate with your fans, your teammates, and the same with the Buckeyes. Go sing the alma mater, get in the locker room, get out the field. So both teams are on. It's a shame that this will be the storyline. You know, instead of the Wolverines rushing for 172 yards versus 77 for the Buckeyes.
It's 5 years of frustrations for the Buckeye fans, and they may not like what they see Michigan doing right now, and you could argue they shouldn't be doing it, but the reality is, for a guy like Jack Sawyer who's seen there ripping the flag away, he came back for the reason to beat that team up north. A lot of these guys have never beat that team up north, and unfortunately, that's how their career will end. So it's ugly. There's a lot of hatred, but that's what this rivalry is. There's no place for it. You had an opportunity for the last 60 minutes to go prove it on the field.
And also, too, just Michigan probably, you know, getting disrespected in this game as, you know, 3 touchdown underdogs. No one gave them a chance to win, and then to come out, and obviously there's no place for that, but to come out and kind of prove the whole world shocked the world, like, hey, we're still here and we still own these guys.
And in the end, The rushing game determined this one again.
Yes, we said Michigan was going to have to make this game ugly. Khalil Mullins had the game of the day. He set the tone for this team. He was consistent, 32 carries, 116 yards and a touchdown. The defense, 5 red zone trips, only allowed 1 touchdown. This was a dirty Michigan brand of football, and that's why they won this game.
How does Ryan Day and the Buckeyes, how do they need to respond to this one?
This is awful loss. I mean, this great state of Ohio's, they're going to shut her down for a couple days. Here's the difference, though, Brady. This is the college football playoff era.
Yeah.
In the old days, you lose that game, you're done. Yeah. You're not going to go to the Big Ten championship, et cetera, et cetera. That's still an excellent roster. If they can regroup, they have great leaders on the team. Who knows? They come back and win a few games in the playoffs. Next thing you know, you're playing for it all.
Buckeyes came into this game with the chance, if they could run the table, to be the #1 overall seed for the playoffs. Now they're hoping that they can just host a playoff game. Mike?
All right, hey, give credit to Michigan first and foremost, but Ohio State's going to look back at this game as some of the miscues. They had 2 missed field goals, an interception that led to Michigan's only touchdown this game. Once again, the end results, 4 straight losses in this series for Ohio State.
Michigan played it perfectly. They made it so ugly in so many ways. I mean, we start with 2 missed field goals by Ohio State. You knew that had to happen. The interceptions were backbreaking, 1 going in, 1 coming out. You alluded to this. They ran the ball. Michigan controlled the clock like we didn't think they could. And it just looked like the pressure built on Ohio State, and they started to play tighter and tighter, certainly as you got in the second half, and they just looked like a shell of themselves. And so it was really a perfect game. They had to make it ugly, and they made it ugly. But in more ways than one, they made it ugly at the end of the game. I just think it's always about this. You win with honor. You lose with class. And I think what a great win for Michigan. And now we're talking about this fight.
Yeah.
Like that, it's just like, I'm not down with that at all on either side.
It's tough because the fight is going to overshadow what Michigan did, and what Michigan did on the football field was incredibly impressive. Like Coach said, get to the locker room. What frustrates me is, okay, Ryan Day, you lose the football game on the football field, but while your players are in the middle of the scuffle, where are you? You still got a national championship game to try to contend for, but now you might have impact players getting suspended.
Right.
Where are you? He should be standing on the logo at the middle, yelling, everybody get your butts back into the locker room, get back into the locker room. Instead, we see him on the sideline asking what happened. So what's even more infuriating to me than what occurred during the 4 quarters with Ohio State is after the game, Ryan Day, get your players back into the locker room and fight another day.
He was in shock. He was in shock. No one saw this coming, but Michigan got the job done. Even though they didn't have the players, they had their identity, and they stuck with it, and they win for the 4th straight time in this series. Meanwhile, Vanderbilt is already bowl eligible for the first time since 2018. Could they pull off an upset against number 8 Tennessee today? They jumped out to a 14-0 lead, but back came Tennessee. Nico Iamaleava throwing down the middle to Dante Thornton Jr., 86 yards to the house, tying the game at 17.
That is an explosive wideout, man. You just got to keep feeding those guys. Vandy, man, hats off to those guys. They battled so hard. You don't want to be a good team and play Vandy.
Yeah, well, they played tough today. Well, they played tough all season long, but Nico had his best game in the SEC today. Once again, 14-yard touchdown right here. Tennessee getting the job done. He had 4 TDs. Nico did 18-26, 257 yards. Tennessee rose. South Carolina Clemson, this was a game too. Great game. Under 2 minutes left in the 4th. South Carolina down 14-10. How good is Lenora Sellers?
I mean, today, spectacular. He had over 330 yards of total offense himself.
2 rushing TDs. He did have a pick. 16 seconds left in the 4th. Same score. Cade Klubnik's pass. Picked off by Demetrius Knight in South Carolina.
Did it?
Still with a little bit of an outside chance. 9-3 on the season. Duke, Wake Forest, how about this finish? 8 seconds left, tied at 17. Malik Murphy. Not even a Hail Mary. What kind of defense?
That hurts. That hurts if you're a Demon Deacon.
Expires. 23-17. Duke gets the win. Hey, Friday's the Mountain West Championship. Rob Stone, Brady Quinn, Mark Ingram, Matt Leinart, Irvin Meyer, a Big Noon Kickoff crew will be there live in Boise as the Broncos host either UNLV or Colorado State. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Meanwhile, huge Big 12 matchup on the schedule tonight as 24th-ranked Kansas State battles number 18 Iowa State. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern on Fox. Second half, Rutgers, Michigan State coming up.
In the snow and in the elements here in East Lansing, there is one constant for Rutgers, and that is Kyle Manungai. All right, here's a look at the numbers. 23-7 here in East Lansing, and it really has been all Rutgers since an early score from Michigan State. Rutgers has taken control, and it's due in part to their running back, Kyle Manungai, who has been phenomenal, over 100 yards here in the first half.
Yeah, and it's been a conservative game. You got to be conservative. The weather is quite difficult, and Manungai has been a tough out. Very difficult to tackle. Always seems to make the right decision with the ball. They've leaned on him. Callie McManus has done a good job managing the game. And top to bottom, I think that really has been the key. Rutgers managing the weather and the game situation better than the Spartans at this point.
So the young quarterback for Michigan State in this offense has some work to do if they want to pull off the comeback win and become bowl eligible. A massive game for both teams. 6 wins needed to make a bowl game. Michigan State has to win this. And then if you're Rutgers, you're trying to get 7 regular season wins for the first time in over a decade. And they do get the ball first here in the second half. So certainly you'd have to say advantage Rutgers, as Greg Schiano says, keep it going to his senior running back, Kyle Manungai. And there is a look at Aiden Childs, the young quarterback for Michigan State, his first full season as a starter. The snow flurries continue to swirl around here at Spartan Stadium. It is a sparse crowd here, but those who are in attendance certainly weathering the storm and hoping for a comeback as Jonathan Kim set to get this second half underway at Spartan Stadium. Fair catch called for by Christian Dremel inside the 5-yard line.
Jonathan Smith, lot to talk about with his team. You see the unanswered runs allowed in the last 5 games. And Michigan went on a big run. Indiana, a gigantic run where Jonathan Smith was not happy with his team's response. Illinois, Purdue came back. They were able to win that one. And then today, 23 points unanswered from the Scarlet Knights.
Going to the air on the first play of the half. This is KJ Duff picking up 5.
Now that they've established Manungai as the focal point, as you see Cal Halliday back out there after hurting his back a little bit the end of the second quarter. Once you get that run game going, you're allowed to get your movement game going, and you're going to find that linebackers are going to be a little bit late out there because they're so worried about tackling Manungai. Right now, Callie McManus and Rutgers really has Michigan State on their heels.
And here is Manungai with room around the left side, picking up the first down out to the 40-yard line.
This is the type of player he is, and this is the type of game it's been. Manungai with the high and tight style, just running through tackles. Talked about how beat up they are in the secondary. That is not going to get easier as the game goes on.
7 defensive backs out against Purdue last week and out this week. This Michigan State defense hasn't had the same starting lineup since opening day. Callie McManus, little shoulder shrug, gonna take a shot deep downfield, and it's broken up at the 10-yard line. Nakai Martinez making the play on Demir Miller. Nice job by the DB.
Nakai Martinez, a safety, but a high school corner, was beaten, but is able to recover because the ball floats in the air a little bit, and then he gets his head around. Could have been maybe called for a PI with that big sweeping punch before the ball arrived.
Looks like Callie McManus changing the play on 2nd and 10. Keeping it on the ground with Manungai. Tries to spin his way out of the tackle, but there were 3 Spartans there to make sure he didn't go anywhere after a gain of 3 yards.
Both of these teams, Dan, they want to be in 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4 at the worst. And if you take a shot down the field and you don't get it, you end up in a 3rd and a little bit longer situation. They've been so strong in the run game that their play action is working. But remember, Rutgers really doesn't have a healthy tight end. And that's why they're in 4 wides and a bunch of different 2-back formations in this game, because they just don't have the personnel.
Throwing the ball again and zipping it in there to Demir Miller.
He's been banged up a little bit too, the transfer out of Monmouth. Great job just sitting down in that zone and showing that 0 to 8th and Callie McManus, who delivered that on 3rd down. Big conversion on a 3rd and pretty long for this Rutgers offense, and now they can get back to what they really want to do, which is run the ball with Manungai, or at least fake it to him.
2nd catch of the game for Miller, goes for a 1st down. Rutgers now in plus territory. Here's Manungai with the stiff arm, trying to find some room. Cuts it back up inside and does a nice job. Picks up 2, maybe 3 before forward progress is called, and that could have easily been a tackle for a loss.
And that's the difference between a guy like that and a more inexperienced player, and a guy that is so strong like a fire hydrant. He gets caught in the backfield, but then ends up getting underneath and making a gain.
Callie McManus looking for Miller, but they didn't appear to be on the same page.
Yeah, Miller thought that it was a go after his break, and Callie McManus thought he was going to break it off and run a deep out. Miscommunication, but no harm, no foul, but it does set up a 3rd and long for the Spartans. Get opportunity to get off the field.
Third and 8. 3 for 7 on 3rd down so far. Callie McManus lets it rip. Another 1st down for Rutgers. Nice job with the little yak there from Miller.
Again, on 3rd down, Callie McManus, you see Miller there lined up in the slot. Gets a nice blitz pickup from Manungai, and again, Miller just able to turn in that zone between 2 Michigan State defenders, Turner and Denson, and deliver that ball well with the snow. Pretty impressive.
Keeping it on the ground with the youngster. That's Antoine Raymond, who had that nice touchdown run earlier.
Young guy out of Canada, Montreal. Hard to get on the field, not because he isn't good, just because Manungai is so valuable. They don't like to take him off, but always productive when he gets the ball. Talked about the touchdown in the 1st half. And now Rutgers putting together a pretty good drive and taking some air out of the ball and some time off the clock.
One of 7 Canadians on the roster.
Schiano loves recruiting Canadians.
Goes back to his Penn State days. And here's another run. Not a whole lot going for Raymond.
That's the best response. The Spartans' defensive front, which has been very good against the run all year, that's the best response they've had so far here in the second half early. And another 3rd and 7 sort of situation for Kaliakmanis to maybe throw it again. The last 2 third down situations, he's been able to find holes in the Michigan State zone to Miller.
Let's see what he can cook up here on 3rd and 7. Four-man rush coming from Michigan State. Has a man open, hauled in. It's Ian Strong.
Again, Kaliakmanis against Jello Gross. Strong runs that out, and Gross digs and tries to get there at the point of reception, but too late.
Monangai met in the middle and stood up by Martinez.
Rutgers really just picking up where they left off, aren't they? With the way this game kind of stopped once Rutgers got a 4th down stop near the goal line, right around where they are right now on Michigan State. Ever since then, it's been all Scarlet Knights. 13th play of this drive.
Let's see if this Michigan State defense can bow up. We know they've been banged up, especially in the back end. Another run from the Scarlet Knights coming. Angelo Gross, Anthony Jones on the stop for the Spartans.
Would be just a victory to force a field goal now.
Oh, absolutely.
In this situation, after the way that Rutgers has kind of surgically exposed this very beat-up secondary on every 3rd down. Kaliakmanis looking very sharp throwing the ball. We'll see if they go to that well again.
3rd down and goal from just inside the 10. Kaliakmanis with time, going to the corner of the end zone. It is caught. Are his feet in bounds? Indeed they are. Ian Strong getting it done.
Strong catching that right on top of the head of Ade Willie. Willie wearing number 6 there, not in a bad position, but can't get his head around to locate the ball. Kaliakmanis, 4 third downs in a row, carving up the Spartans defense, and what a textbook drive by the Scarlet Knights to get things started here in the second half on the road.
2nd straight week with a nice touchdown catch for Strong. Now 5 touchdowns on the season. And they're going to go for 2. 1 for 3 on 2-point conversions this season. Kaliakmanis looking over to the sideline. Gonna throw. Into the end zone. Caught. And the 2-point conversion, courtesy of KJ Duff, is good and going up on the board. All Rutgers, the Scarlet Knights absolutely rolling in East Lansing, up 31-7. Let's take a look at the fan cam sponsored by Coke Zero Sugar. It is the best Coke ever. Try it and decide for yourself. It's been snowing for 2 days. The entire 48 hours we've been here, P, it's been snowing. And listen, this stadium seats 74,000 people. There aren't 74,000 here tonight, but the ones that are here are flossing and having a darn good time.
Yeah, the flurries have come, and the flurry from Rutgers as well. 31 unanswered points since Michigan State opened in their first drive with a touchdown.
Michigan State made it look easy on that first drive, but it has been a tough road to hoe since then. And halfway through the 3rd quarter here, Aiden Childs coming back out, trying to reignite something, anything on this offense. Throwing the ball hasn't been easy in these weather conditions. The wind's blowing, the snow's coming down.
You see what they did on the first drive, and then the next 5. Not pretty. This is a big moment, maybe, in the growth of Aiden Childs.
And there's a nice run here by Lynch Adams, spinning his way out past the 40-yard line. And that's just what the doctor ordered for this Spartan offense.
Well, they started the game out with a pitch out to the right. This time they pitch it out to the left, and there's a lot of space there when they get that Rutgers defense hips turn to the sideline and run it. Lynch Adams finds some good vertical run lanes. Did it early, does it the first play for Michigan State offensively in the second half.
Lynch Adams again, up the middle and out to the 50-yard line. Another good pickup on first down for the former Rutgers Scarlet Knight. He started his career there, went to UMass, and found himself here in East Lansing. He was a pretty good running back. Unfortunately for him at the time, he was backing up a young man by the name of Isaiah Pacheco, who has gone on to do nice things in the NFL for the Kansas City Chiefs, and felt like it was time to move on. Greg Schiano said it was sorry to see him go. Childs with a little misdirection there to Nick Marsh, and that's a guy they'd like to get more involved in this offense. That is Marsh's first catch of the day.
Yeah, they had an end around for him earlier. He's been targeted. This time they just run a movement play where he's the primary guy, really the only guy, to get Childs and him connected. If they are going to make a comeback, Nick Marsh is going to have to be part of it. Pretty good answering drive right now, developing for Michigan State. Let's see if the young quarterback can keep it going. They got movement on the edge. That looks like Parachek.
A.Z. Johnson.
That whole left side really got moving. Not sure what the excuse is. They're pretty far from the football and the count. That really sets the Spartans back, especially with the momentum that they were creating.
Childs looking to the left side, delivers and complete to Marsh. So now the young freshman hauling in 2 catches in a row, his first 2 catches of the ball game. We talked about how dynamic he is. One of the best young receivers in the Big Ten. One of the best freshman receivers in the entire nation.
A local guy too, Detroit, Michigan, River Rouge High School.
There's Longerbeam coming off the field, at least momentarily. And it's Masco who's matched up on Nick Marsh here on 2nd and 9. Spartans choosing to run it again. And Lynch Adams has had so much success using that spin move. He kind of spun when nobody was there.
Yeah, a little early on the spin move there from Lynch Adams. But what they're trying to do is create a 6-7 yard gain to make the 3rd down more manageable. 3rd and 9, not easy for this offense in its current form. We'll see if Childs can do what Kaliak-Manis was able to do on that last drive, which is convert on 3rd down. You see the numbers.
3 wide receivers to the top of your screen for Childs. He goes the other direction and met right away another tremendous open field tackle from Salam.
Throws it short to the captain, Nathan Carter, the running back, and Salam, who's had a pretty good game, digs hard and gets to him before he can create anything. And the Spartans are staying out on the field and going to go on 4th and 9.
The one thing we haven't seen as much of as we had the last few games is Childs running the ball. Aiden Childs certainly has the ability to tuck in and run when he decides to do so.
It was the 4th down that they missed earlier in the game that really changed momentum.
Childs up top. And And the fans want a flag. He was looking for Montori Foster Jr. It was Longerbeam there in coverage. And Longerbeam saying he strapped him up. Indeed, he did. This Rutgers defense doing a nice job. NFL knowledge from those who have been there. The facility breaks down the NFL from the player's perspective. Join Shady McCoy, James Jones, Chase Daniel, and Emmanuel Acho every weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern, only on FS1. As for the here and now, Rutgers up 31-7. And since the first drive, Michigan State hasn't gotten a whole lot going offensively. They could desperately use a stop here, or at least slow down Rutgers a little bit. It's Monangai once again, who had 100 yards in the first half.
I mean, 7 drives for Michigan State, 0 for 3 on 4th downs. 3 of their 4 longest drives ended unsuccessfully on 4th downs. Jonathan Smith just trying to find something to spark this team and create some momentum, but there really has been none since that first touchdown drive and since they got stopped on 4th down. If they can get a stop here, we'll see. But man, this has been a third quarter that Rutgers has just dominated.
Third quarters have not been kind to Michigan State this season. They certainly thought they had the advantage up front. Rutgers taking a shot deep, and the flag coming in. Ian Strong, the intended receiver, and it did seem as though Andrew Brinson, the 4th, had an arm wrapped around him.
Defense number 18, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Yeah, he's just holding on, trying to prevent a catch, basically taking the penalty so he doesn't have to hear the Rutgers band play, and they're not even here.
Well, this is a product of what we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
7 defensive backs out for Michigan State.
And 8 with the Jalen Thompson injury in the first half, so that's
right.
8 starters unavailable, and they're really exploiting those matchups now on the edge.
Monangai up the middle for 2, and Andrew Brinson, who was called for that penalty, a talented kid, true freshman out of Tampa, Florida. But there's 3-4 true freshmen who are playing in the secondary who otherwise wouldn't have been playing if not for all these injuries for Michigan State. So down the road, a good thing to have them out there now, but in the moment, not the ideal situation.
Very difficult. I mean, it's difficult to replace 2-3 starters on any football team in the midst of a season, but 7 or 8 is just devastating. Almost untenable.
Here's Monangai trying to bounce it to the outside. Cuts it back in at around the 35-yard line. That brings up 3rd down and manageable.
Well done by one of those guys that's not going to get to redshirt, Justin Denson. One of those young guys pressed into duty, comes out there to the edge and stops Monangai before he can get a first down, creating this 3rd down situation. But the clock, the momentum, the push, and the confidence are all on the side of the Scarlet Knights, the road team.
Keep it on the ground again on 3rd and 5. Monangai trying to find the corner, and like he was shot out of a cannon. It was Angelo Gross making the stop before he is able to get to the first down marker.
Yeah, Monangai's a guy that wants to have his pads square to the line of scrimmage and going forward. When you start having him go east to west, he's going to have a harder time, and it's easier to get to his legs and knock out the motor, and that's what Gross did. Nice tackle there, creating a 4th down situation as the 3rd quarter comes to an end.
Still 31-7 here at Spartan Stadium. Rutgers looking at 4th down here. The Spartans got to get it going if they want to become bowl eligible here in the 4th quarter. They have 1 quarter to make it happen. Welcome back to East Lansing. Michigan State scores the first touchdown of the game to go up 7-0. Since then, it has been all Scarlet Knights, 31 unanswered points.
And they're kind of in no man's land here on the 33-yard line, so they're lining up the offense as you see the Spartans fans stoically looking on.
4th and 4 for Rutgers. .46% conversion rate on 4th down this year. Kalikmanis goes to the air, and they convert once again. KJ Duff with another big catch for the Scarlet Knights.
They've just had great success here in the second half, throwing the ball on 3rd and 4th downs now, finding little holes in that very inexperienced Michigan State secondary. And Kalikmanis, despite the weather, has been very accurate on a lot of different throws.
The Minnesota transfer has looked good here in East Lansing tonight, no doubt about it. And there he is again to Dymere Miller. Going to be about a yard shy of picking up the first down for Rutgers. You got to like the receiving core. Miller coming in as the leading receiver. He's a senior, but KJ Duff, a true freshman at 6'6", and Ian Strong at 6'3". The future is bright.
I mean, they don't have any tight ends in this game, but they've had a lot of production out on the edge between Strong, Ben Black, we've seen make some plays, KJ Duff, Miller, very productive guys all through the game.
Yeah, Black and Duff, both true freshmen in the receiving core for Rutgers. Here's Monungai. Jordan Turner, nice tackle right at the line of scrimmage.
Jordan Turner's made some great plays, including a huge stop on 3rd down in the first half. Just done a pretty good job against Monungai here in the second half, but it's been...
Here's Kalikmanis on the sneak on 3rd and 1. And it looks like he picks up another Rutgers first down.
That's who it's been that's killing Michigan State. Kalikmanis with his arm, with his legs. He scrambled on some 3rd downs. Got that big body going forward, 6'3", 213 pounds for another first down. And the clock continues to run.
Kalikmanis came in here, won the job in the spring. Obviously familiar with offensive coordinator Kirk Shiraka from their time together at Minnesota. And he has done nothing but deliver since setting foot on campus in New Jersey. Monungai breaking a tackle before he is upended by Angelo Gross.
He came backpedaling out of there and then got hit in the back of the legs. A lot of familiarity with Minnesota and both staffs. Joe Rossi knows Shiraka really well from Minnesota as well. He's the defensive coordinator for Michigan State. These are two rebuilding programs, but right now you can see that Rutgers is way ahead in their rebuild. Way ahead of the Spartans.
Into the end zone. And looked like Ian Strong might have been the victim of a little jersey grab, but it does not appear to have been called.
Well, out in this moment, how many of those are you going to call? Ed Woods has been pretty solid. They've had some guys just grab on for dear life as they are so decimated in the secondary. And Kalikmanis has taken a lot of advantage of it. 3rd and 4 situation for Rutgers.
Well, let's see if he tries to go up top to Strong again. In the first half, he looked at him twice in a row. Third and 4 for Kalikmanis. Monungai. Outside, inside, and then wrapped up Ed Woods from his cornerback spot. Nice open field tackle.
Can't do it better than that if you're Ed Woods. And again, we were talking about Monungai. He's a little bit better when he's going forward as opposed to going to the side, and Woods does a great job of getting to his feet before he can get upfield again. forcing a field goal attempt, small victory for a beat-up Michigan State defense that's been out there way too long, especially here in the second half.
And instead of a near 50-yard field goal attempt, they chew up another 4 minutes of clock, and this will be Jay Patel from 29 yards away. And Patel's kick is good. Rutgers adding 3 more to the scoreboard here in East Lansing. Schiano, happy, not happy? Welcome back. We want to thank our Los Angeles technical team for a heck of a season. Technical director TJ Toyozaki, our A1 Matt Huff, replay Doc Koniar, Freddie Miranda, Jackie Andrade, graphics Sean Riley, Foxbox, Hamdog, Don Walker, our engineers Chuck Poe and Mike Vineyard, Weimer and Biederman, our producer and director. 2 of our favorites to work with. And it is 34-7 here. Rutgers set to kick off after their latest field goal. We are back in East Lansing to see if Michigan State can stir something up.
Big thanks to our on-site technical team for a wonderful season. Our venerable cameramen, Jason Upson and Tim Buffy LaBeouf. There's Buffy right there. Oh, there's Dan Helly. Look at that. Tech producer Sarah DeRusha, ops manager Hannah Seaman, submix Rich Birdsong, A2 Michael Kramer, video Derek Harrington, and our engineers Neil Vigor and Raymond Zinali.
Well done, and thank you for each and every person who's been a part of putting this broadcast together. Michigan State desperately looking to make something positive happen on the offensive side of the ball.
Ball was a little low for A.Z. Johnson, but he was very open, was able to dig it off of the turf. Up. Taking a look at it now. Calling it incomplete.
Not something you see every day. 7 scoring drives for Rutgers, 7 points for Michigan State. Not the way that Jonathan Smith and his offensive staff, Brian Lindgren and company, drew this night up.
They have really worn down the Michigan State defense. Since the second quarter, Rutgers has had 5 drives, 8, 10, 9, 14, and 12 plays.
Childs gets it off to Velling. Velling, who in the first half had consecutive 23-yard gains. Just a yeoman's effort for the Seattle native to even be out here today after he was on the receiving end of a huge hit last week and carted off the field against Purdue.
Yeah, and his body's been pretty electric. He's been alive, done a pretty good job out there making catches and trying to elongate plays. It's just been so few and far between for Aiden Childs. Opportunities very, very slim because of Rutgers' domination offensively.
Childs with time. And it was Montori Foster Jr.
He flags out. Took a second.
Flag.
He's got to take the glove off before he throws the flag.
We've seen that a couple of times.
Yeah,
I've been
so
wondering
a little late.
why they're so slow on the draw.
Interference, defense number 6. 15-yard penalty, automatic down.
You're one-on-one out here with Foster, and it was on number 21, Salam. It's a little push here, right there. The little push, and he goes down, whether it affected the play or not. The flag did come out eventually.
Did he say number 6?
He did originally, and then they changed it back to 21.
Okay. That appeared to be just a love tap here in the snow. Nonetheless, first down. Sparks will take it. Swings it out to the running back, Carter. Carter inside the 40-yard line. That one good for a first down for the Spartans.
They ran that earlier in the game, and Childs missed the throw. This time, Throws right there. Good blocking down the field from Velling and Johnson. And a well-executed play.
14-yard gain for Carter. The coaching staff saying he's doing a much better job catching the ball out of the backfield. Some running backs natural pass catch, others have to work on a little bit more, and Carter's done a nice job improving in that area. Here he is again, bobbles it for a moment. Able to get a handle on it, and very close to picking up another Spartan first down.
Good patience by Childs that time, letting things develop. Saw that he had good protection, hits the outlet almost for a first down, but the clock is their enemy as they're obviously way down in the game.
Here's Carter again. And that'll be a fresh set of downs as the sticks are being moved as we speak. And this is their most productive drive since early in the first quarter.
Michigan State really scratching and clawing in the dirt for some positives in this game. Doesn't look like they're going to get to bowl eligibility unless they make a miraculous comeback here. They've been so beat up on that right side and in defense.
Childs has a wide open Jack Velling. If the pass was a little bit in front of him, that's a walk-in touchdown, but nonetheless, another first down and another catch for the talented junior.
Velling lined up in kind of a wing position there and just runs a seam route, and no one ever picks him up. A little bit of a miscommunication. Maybe DJ Jabome just let him get by at the line of scrimmage. Either way, a good job by Childs recognizing it, but you're right, if that's more of an accurate throw, that's 6.
Velling 8 touchdowns last year at Oregon State, none this year. And now he has one. Jack Velling in for the TD. Michigan State with a desperately needed score.
They're really great at movement plays when they get that kind of thing going. Parachek going one way. Velling comes free the other way after being held by Timmy Hinspetter, the linebacker. He spins out of the hold, puts his hands up like he needs a flag. Instead, he catches the ball for a touchdown.
And you know what? That was the opposite of an announcer jinx.
You're right.
Talked about him not having a touchdown, gets a touchdown.
You showed him the love, and it came to fruition.
Indeed it did. All right, extra point up, extra point good. Still a lot of work to do for Michigan State, but that has to feel good to find the end zone for the first time since the first drive of the game, courtesy of that man, Jack Velling. Welcome back. 20-point lead for Rutgers. Michigan State did score their first touchdown since the first drive of the game, and apparently Gandalf making the trip. Sparty here as well. And it has been a rough go of it thus far for some of the fans here in the snow, the Michigan State faithful, who are hoping for bowl eligibility after today, but there is a lot of work to be done for the Spartans to get there.
Feeling good about the touchdown. See if they can make anything of it.
Props to these fans who are here in this weather. It feels like 13 degrees outside. Yeah, they're smiling, they're having fun, hot chocolate in the stands. That guy doesn't even have a jacket.
I feel like the young are in a better spot than some of the older people. But then again, I guess it all has to do with where you were raised.
Onside kick, bouncing around. Rutgers finally corrals it. Michigan State had a shot at it.
Great idea. And there was a big, giant gap there right in the middle. Rutgers able to come up with it.
Now that is a sweater that I could see Petros in. That guy's had it so long, it's just shrunk just a little bit, hangs right below the belly button. Perfect.
That's the gruff Sparty there. with the jutting chin. I've been to Sparta. I've not seen a guy that looks like that.
You're that guy. What are you talking about? Antoine Raymond is checked in at running back. Kelly McManus changing the play. Going to give it to the youngster. And there were at least 3 Spartan jerseys there. And Van Sumeren is the guy who escorted him to the turf.
Rutgers trying to finish this game and run this clock. Michigan State wants the ball back. See if they can make it interesting. A few first downs would make it a lot more difficult for the Spartans, but if they can get a 3 and out here, there'll be a little bit of a pulse.
Last week, this Michigan State defense held Purdue to -4 rushing yards for the game. And Rutgers has run for 160 here tonight. And you can add a few more to that one. Raymond with some room, taking care of the football as he is down inside the 35-yard line. Another huge play by this Rutgers offense, just gashing the Spartan D.
Yeah, this Canadian young runner, and you see him holding it high in the wrong arm, but still holding it high. Takes a big hit from Denson at the end and finishes the run. A lot of these Canadian players usually play a year in Florida in high school, and that's where Schiano gets them from. Clearwater Academy is where Raymond came from. Far away from Montreal.
Much warmer than Montreal. But Raymond obviously used to this weather here as he steps over a down lineman, picks up another 3 yards before he's ripped to the ground.
That big run by Raymond really kind of put a stake in whatever sort of momentum Michigan State was trying to build with their touchdown drive.
Well, offensively, Rutgers going to be in pretty good shape. We talked about that receiving core with those freshmen, Duff and Black, and the sophomore Ian Strong coming back. But the senior quarterback, Athian Kelly McManus, going to be back for another year as well. Year number 2 in this system with his offensive coordinator, Kirk Shiraka, here at Rutgers. Of course, he was with him previously at Minnesota. Breaking a tackle, turning on the wheels, picking up a first down to the 15-yard line. The freshman Raymond continues to get the job done for the Scarlet Knights.
And Schiano's showing him right now, this is going to be your job. It's going to be your job to run the clock. It's going to be your job to finish games. It's going to be your job to secure the football. When Monangai moves on, they are on schedule with the rebuild of Rutgers under a coach that knows exactly how to do it. Really, it doesn't feel like anybody else in the country knows how to do it at Rutgers other than Greg Schiano. Michigan State just absolutely pummeled by this run as the cold evening has gone on.
Keeping on the ground once again, chewing up as much clock as possible. Greg Schiano, first time I had talked to him since we had a short stint together at NFL Network when he was in between jobs. He moonlighted there for a couple of months, and it's always great to catch up with him. You know, coming off that loss to Illinois, which was just a stake through the heart. They had it in their grasp, but he said, listen, there's 2 great thieves in this world, the past and the future. You can't let them steal from the present, and he's done a tremendous job keeping his team in the present this week.
And that motto they have, the keep chopping, the chopping motto, you really kind of see it in their whole style of play. The personality of the team mirrors the personality of the head coach.
And they are grinding it out tonight. 212 yards on the ground. Jay-Sean Benjamin, though, not going anywhere on this particular run.
they're going to be able to redshirt Benjamin because he hasn't played in his 4 games. Benji, they call him, another running back for the future. Getting a little burn late in this game as Antoine Raymond comes back in after 1 play off. Still got the grass stuck in the top of his helmet.
There's a look at Coach Schiano. 16 total seasons at Rutgers. This is the 5th year of his 2nd stint.
Doesn't his ear look uncomfortable there?
It's kind of holding the headset in place. Wants to hear what's going on. Second and goal, looking for another touchdown, and Raymond finds it. Rutgers putting 40 on the board for the first time since week 2.
And this one kind of felt like an inevitability as they started to run him over. Justin Denson makes the wrong decision, goes for Callie Ekmanis in the mesh. Callie Ekmanis does a great job holding for the last second and leaving Denson in confusion and getting the ball to Raymond and finishing the drive. 2nd touchdown for that young man, as we said.
Raymond hasn't had a ton of carries this year, but he's done a nice job finding the end zone. Now 5 touchdowns on the year for the freshman. And Rutgers with the 40 spot on the board for the first time since September. Rolling here in East Lansing. Another Rutgers rushing touchdown, now 41-14, and the fans have been busy here.
Do those count as fans?
Yeah, why not? They've kind of cleared out here for the most part, but the snowmen and snow ladies are well represented. Wow, those two look like they're in LA getting ready to go to the beach.
Somebody help those people.
Loose cannons.
Somebody help them.
That's what you'd be doing, Petros, had you not been in full football uniform during your USC days. You'd been in the stands with no shirt. Rutgers has looked outstanding here. Whether there was snow on the ground or no snow on the ground, they've racked up over 218 rushing yards. We're right at 218 rushing yards. And just done about everything they've wanted to from an offensive standpoint.
They've really managed the game perfectly. The weather, the circumstances, Michigan State's beat up secondary.
And here's Sam Edwards returning the ball out to about the 25-yard line. And Greg Schiano likes what he's been seeing so far. 41-14, under 2 to go here in East Lansing. Tonight's game is being produced by the great Brad Weimer, and Brian Biederman is our director, the associate director, Andy Kavanaugh, the broadcast associates, Brett Elder and Will Corkhill. I'll tell you what, our broadcast associates, the BAs, about as good as you'll find.
They're all the greatest.
Keeping it on the ground. That's Mekhi Frazier, true freshman from McKinney, Texas, getting a little burn here for Michigan State. Listen, this has been not an easy job that Jonathan Smith stepped into coming from Oregon State in his first year. Obviously, the program was in some turmoil. He had 60 new players on the roster this year.
They're going to have to get back to the drawing board, hit the portal to help out the right side of that offensive line. Oh.
And that was Bo Masco on the interception. A new quarterback, Alessio Milivojevic, throwing the pick. And Masco with his first interception of the year in the regular season finale. That's the way you want to go out.
They bring in a new quarterback just to get a little run, and does not read Masco, who's right there. Aiden Childs with some words of encouragement on the sideline. And this thing can be turned around quickly with the portal, but Coach Smith is going to have to re-recruit Nick Marsh, the wide receiver. keep Aiden Childs going. Velling and Carter, they do have some real weapons.
Velling and Childs, of course, coming with him from Oregon State. Velling just a junior, Childs a sophomore, and you mentioned Marsh, who's one of the best young receivers in the country, a true freshman out of Detroit, has put up great numbers. But that's the story with every program in the nation. You don't just recruit to get guys on campus, you have to recruit to keep them on campus in this current environment that we're in.
And Michigan State still is going to be a developmental program. They're still going to want to bring in high school classes, but they're going to have to plug a few holes with the portal. Rutgers also very developmental, and they're in a different stage of their development than Coach Smith's team. A really rough outing tonight in the snow at home. Very disappointing way to finish the year. That guy, very impressive, and really kind of shows the whole identity and heartbeat of what Rutgers football is under Greg Schiano.
Schiano absolutely loves Kyle Monangai, a two-time team captain, a good student who's in the business school right now. As Greg Schiano's team gets 7 regular season wins for the first time since 2014. This, of course, coming on the heels of that loss last week, and they will be going to a bowl game and a chance to get to 8 wins. Greg Schiano has taken this team to 8 bowl games in 16 seasons. They've only had 13 bowl games in the history of the program.
Wow.
It's incredible what he has done for Rutgers football in 2 different stints, leaving for the NFL and coming back and getting a huge win. 41-14 here in East Lansing. We'll see you in 1 second on the other side of this break. Rutgers making the trip here to East Lansing and getting the job done. A 41-14 victory here over the Spartans on their home turf. They were fighting for a bowl bid. Unfortunately for Michigan State, it was Rutgers that was pulling out all the punches tonight and coming out with a huge 41-14 win, and they did the majority of their damage, as they have for much of this year on the ground, Patrick.
Yeah, I was impressed with their passing game when they needed it, but Kyle Monangai really is the identity of this football team. Their motto, keep chopping, and that's what he does. Just 5'9", 210 pounds, but he is the heartbeat of Rutgers football. Doesn't want to be tackled, always falls forward, protects the ball beautifully. I was really impressed with how they rallied around their running back and got it done in a rough, nasty day here in East Lansing to continue the growth of Rutgers' program. And Michigan State, it's going to be back to the drawing board. Big rebuild coming this offseason.
But they do have pieces in place here at Michigan State. The quarterback, a tight end, a young receiver. Keeping them here will be the key. Greg Schiano certainly has Rutgers headed in the right direction. 208 rushing yards for the Scarlet Knights. Schiano has a quarterback coming back next year. They're headed to a bowl game this year for the 14th time in school history.
Indiana quarterback Curtis Ward trying to bounce back after the subpar game against Ohio State. Indiana, its first loss of the season against Ohio State, trying to bounce back and get into the college football playoffs with a win against Purdue. Welcome to the FS1 College Football Extra, sponsored by Defender. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome inside our LA studios. Mike Hill along with Emmanuel Acho and Chris Peterson. We got a lot to get to, but let's get you caught up on action from around the country with our Land Rover Defender highlights. And we're talking about the game. Michigan, Ohio State. Nobody gave the Wolverines a chance, but they gave themselves a chance. Of course, Ryan Day had lost 3 straight against Michigan, but late the fourth quarter tied at 10, 3rd and 6. Michigan ending in Khalil Mullins.
Understand, Ohio State would allow more rushing yards than it has all season in this game, 173 by Michigan, and Mullins was the reason why.
That was set up a field goal, putting Michigan up 13-10 late. Under 30 seconds left. Same score. Final chance for Ohio State. Will Howard. Subpar game for him. Throws incomplete. Michigan, the upset. 4th year in a row, they knock off the Buckeyes. And after the game, ugly ensued. big brawl right there after Michigan tried to plant its flag. Buckeyes not happy about that. Ryan Day even sadder.
Yeah, I don't know all the details of it, but I know that, these guys, are looking to, put a flag on our field, and our guys weren't going to let that happen. So, I'll find out exactly what happened. But, this is our field, and certainly, we're embarrassed with the fact that we lost the game. But, there's some prideful guys in this team that weren't just going to let that happen.
Ryan Day upset for many reasons. He's 44-1 against all Big Ten teams outside of Michigan.
But
1-4 against his rivals, the team from up north, 4 in a row. And this is the biggest upset, guys, in Michigan-Ohio State rivalry history. I mean, at least in the FBS area. Look at that. 20-point spread at the beginning of the game, and Michigan gets the win on the road. First of all, give a lot of credit to Michigan. Ohio State had its issues. They had a lot of miscues, but Michigan to win.
I give all the credit to Michigan. Michigan took advantage of what Ohio State gave them. Ohio State, you want to miss field goals? Fine, we'll take advantage of that. Will Howard, stage too big for you? Don't worry, we'll take advantage of that. Ohio State, you're used to playing from ahead. We never gave you enough of a lead to play ahead from. We'll take advantage of that. Kudos to everything Michigan was able to do. They were able to run the ball. They were able to possess the ball, and they took advantage of Ohio State missed field goals, Coach. They took advantage of Ohio State miscues. They took advantage of it all.
I mean, you said it best right there. I mean, this game we thought for Michigan to win was going to have to make it ugly. And it was an ugly game in so many different ways. But credit to that Michigan defense. I mean, they held Ohio State to 77 yards of rush offense, 252 of total offense. Will Howard was out of sorts, couldn't really get the ball to his playmakers at all, picked him off twice. And then in the second half when it's close, when the Ohio State players know this really shouldn't be close, they start pressing. And now it's a whole different game. And then you saw Khalil Mullins make that long run, and then it was just like panic time, and they couldn't recover.
The coaches played panic, and they called the game panic. There were two pivotal moments. Ohio State coming out of its own end zone. It was 3rd and 7. They chose to run the ball. Why are you running the ball on 3rd and 7? Because Ohio State was playing not to lose as opposed to playing to win. 3rd and 10 going into the end zone. Why are you running the ball on 3rd and 10?
Did they trust Will Howard?
They absolutely did not trust Will Howard, but that means they didn't trust themselves. How can you play the biggest game of your season if you don't trust your quarterback? You can't afford to go into this game playing not to lose. You had to play to win. That's ultimately why they did lose.
And going back to Michigan, 3 points were scored in this second half.
Yeah, 3 points.
I mean, that's crazy. Like, you would have thought, wait, that would never happen. Nobody gave Michigan any chance at all, but this was just such a great performance.
Think about this. Michigan was inside the Ohio State 5 3 times.
Yeah.
They only got 3 points. The 3 points that really mattered at the end of the game, but they had an interception. They had a stop on 4th and 1 as well. Give, once again, a lot of credit to Michigan. Nobody gave this team a chance on the road, but what Rudy Tomjanovich once said, never underestimate the heart of a champion. They believe in themselves, and that was enough today. Hey, don't miss the Mountain West Championship at Boise State as Boise State hosts either UNLV or Colorado State. Coverage begins Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Purdue, Indiana, coming up.